With you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. When the days were completed for their purification, according to the law of Moses, Mary and Joseph took Jesus up to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord, just as it is written in the law of the Lord. Every male that opens the womb shall be consecrated to the Lord, and offer the sacrifice of 2 young turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, in accordance with the dictate of the law of the Lord. Now there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. He was righteous and devout, awaiting the consolation of Israel. It had been revealed to him by the Spirit that he should not see death before he had seen the Christ of the Lord. He came in the Spirit into the temple, and when the parents brought in the child Jesus to perform the custom of the law in regard to him, he took him in his arms and blessed God, saying, "Now, Master, you may let your servant go in peace, according to your word. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you prepared in the sight of all the peoples, a light for revelation of the Gentiles and the glory for your people Israel." The child's father and mother were amazed at what was said about him. And Simeon blessed them and said to Mary, his mother, "Behold, this child is destined for the fall and rise of many in Israel, and to be a sign that will be contradicted. And you yourself a sword shall pierce, so that the thoughts of many hearts may be revealed." There was also a prophetess, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel of the tribe of Asher, who she was advanced in years, having lived 7 years with her husband in their marriage, and then as a widow until she was 84. She never left the temple, but worshiped night and day with fasting and prayer. And coming forward at that very time, she gave thanks to God and spoke about the child to all who awaited the redemption of Jerusalem. When they had fulfilled all the prescriptions of the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee, to their own town of Nazareth. The child grew and became strong, filled with wisdom, and the favor of God was upon him. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Today is the Feast of the Purification. It is 40 days since Christmas, and today we bring to a conclusion our celebration of the birth of Christ. That celebration was highlighted by 3 feasts. First, of course, Christmas itself, and then the Epiphany, when the Magi came and Jesus was revealed to the Gentiles. And now today, when Jesus is presented in the temple, we have the fulfillment of the promise that God made to Israel, that he would give them a Messiah and a king. If you read the Old Testament carefully, you will find that God was constantly revisiting the promise he made to Israel, because every time he made the promise, they turned away from him. And so God would revisit the promise, and then he would sweeten the pie, and he would go back to them with something better. And again, they would turn away from him. But he never gave up. He just constantly revisited that promise, and in every occasion made it better. Life is a series of promises. This summer, I will stand here before 25 or 30 couples who will say to one another, "I take you to be my spouse. I promise to be true to you in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health. I will love you and honor you all the days of my life." And however many years it is since you celebrated similar vows, do you revisit that promise and do everything you can to improve it? It's not enough just to keep the letter of the law, but do I ask myself, what have I done in the last year to enrich this relationship, to make it deeper and better than it ever was before? How often do I tell my spouse how much I love him or her? and not with words. Words are easy, but in what we do for one another, constantly and endlessly revisiting the promise we made. If you bring a child into this world, you are promising that child that for the next 20 to 25 years you will sacrifice and go without so that you can provide for that child. You will support him or her, nourish them, and nurture them. But you'll also have to remember that that beautiful child who sits on your lap and fills your heart with joy will one day be a teenager, and going through that difficult period of adolescence when they have to break away from you and become their own person is extremely painful and hurtful for everyone involved. And do we tell our children every single day how much we love them, most particularly on the days when we don't even like them, even more importantly, on the days when they break our heart? All young people think they are invincible, but they're growing up in a difficult environment today. There are drugs out there that can alter the shape of their life forever. There's peer pressure, and they always and everywhere need to know how much and how deeply they are loved, because beneath the veneer, they are incredibly, incredibly fragile. And so we need to revisit the promise that we made to them so that in every way we can enrich the life that we gave them. Amen.